Welcome back, traders. Today I'll be showing you how I use volume profile to help me with my trades on EURUSD, and I'll be picking up from where I left off last week's video because we made a bunch of assumptions, right? They haven't come true, but I still believe that it kind of will. So I'm going to keep everything that I talked about last week on the chart for this week's analysis, and we're going to see what transpires moving forward. So with that said, we're going to get straight into it. And as you can see, we're currently on a day chart on EURUSD, right? If you can't see the top bar as to what they are selected, you can always see the watermark behind the chart, so it gives you an idea as to what they were looking at, right? Now, based on what we did last week, so just as a brief recap, first off, we identified this trend, right, or this descending channel when price was coming down, and then I was of the mindset that we was going to get a close below the low volume node areas, right? Now, if you don't know what a low volume node area is, because this is the first time on my channel, right, what the low volume node is, it's an area where there aren't that many traders, right? So price tends to react one or two ways when it gets to those locations. Either it blasts straight through with the power wick. This is why we can see this massive push to the upside that blasts straight through it, or this level also acts as a support or resistance, right? So the areas that you can see that have been marked out, these ones right here, these ones and these ones, these are all low volume node areas, right? Now they do change, so they're not fixed. So what will tend to happen is if traders sentiment changes in the market and they believe a particular location is a good place to load up on, and a lot of them think in that direction or thinking that way, what will happen is the volume node will change, and then it will start to fill out, and then it will just look like a regular node. And these ones here, these little peaks, these are the high volume node areas, right? So these are areas where most buyers and sellers agree this is the place to do business. So in this volume profile that you can see right now, you see a whole bunch of high volume nodes, and you see a whole bunch of low volume nodes, like we have here, like we have here, like we have here, like we have here, and like we have here, with this high volume node area being the most important because this is where the point of control is located, also known as the POC or POC. This level right here is the value area high boundary, and this area over here is the value area low boundary, and this area over here is also called the low volume area, and this area over here is also called the low volume area. So what would take forever for some other guys to explain to you, we've just done it very quickly, what you're looking at in terms of the volume profile. And this view that we're in right now with the volume profile is called the total view. So I'm seeing buyers and sellers as one data. They can be separated out, but I prefer to look at it in two views only, which is the total view and the delta view. That's it. Now at some point in this analysis, if I do go onto the delta view of the volume profile, I will then explain that to you also as well, right? So as we can see, price has pushed up. So we had a buying opportunity, right? So buying opportunity was set at 1.16775, right? So when this opportunity presented itself, which would have been on Monday, okay, you could have loaded in and you would have had your buys locked in, and you would have been good for this week. As it stands right now, you would be profitable, okay? And remember, on this channel, we're all about swing trading, right? That's what we do here. We're all about swing trading. Now, we also, before we got this move up here, right, we also had price close below 1.161, sorry, 1.16167. I don't know, I got all muddled up when I was about to say that there, so I had to pause for a moment and recalibrate myself. So this first break below this level was on Tuesday the 15th of July. Okay, so last week. So when did I do the recording? So that would have been on a Friday. Couldn't done on a Friday. I feel like I've missed something in here. Okay, so I could have done the recording on this day over here. I'm not really sure if it was 6 days ago or even longer. But yeah, anyways, it is what it is. Right, so where we are right now, we kind of need to figure out what's going on, right? So for that, we're just going to jump into the 1 hour. Small, just so that we can get the small incremental movements, so we can kind of help us to see what we need to see in regards to what market is currently doing now. So as we can see, we have a bit of a price build up in this location. Okay, so we're getting a lot of activities going on in this location right now, and let's have a look, because at this point, this is where I feel I might need to bring in the Dixie to kind of help me work out what I think price is going to do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to bring in the Dixie. Okay, here we go. Dixie. Okay, let's get rid of this. Okay, so as we can see, my mindset was 4. So on the Dixie, what you're looking at right now is I have this level highlighted, right? So this level right here, I have this level highlighted, and the thought behind that was if price closes below this level right here, okay, I'm going to assume that the Dixie plans on going lower, right? Going lower, and if that turns out to be the case, it means Euro USD is going to go higher, right? So as you can see right here is we have a pull to the upside on the Dixie, and then if you go to Euro USD, you can see we're beginning to have what should be a pull to the downside, which is what we got going on right here. So let's go back to the Dixie again. Sometimes the correlation is not exactly uniform, so you have to bear that in mind. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm taking the most recent swing high of the Dixie. I'm going to go to the Euro, and I'm going to go to the most recent swing low. So this is what you can do on your own personal charts on the 1 hour, right? Which is you want to mark out this area on the Dixie. So mark out this area on the Dixie, and the area that I'm talking about is this high point right here. It's this high point right here. So that is 97.141. And then you're going to jump into Euro USD. And then you're going to find that same location, which is this one over here, right? The most recent swing high, swing low, sorry. And then we're going to mark out this area right here as a possible area of interest, which is 1.17090, right? So we're going to put a little level on there. We're going to put a little level on there. And then what we're waiting for is to see if price is going to close below that. If price closes below that, okay, it does not necessarily mean this is where we begin to start selling. No. We're going to need to chill for a minute. We're going to need to relax, take it easy, right? What we are going to need to do, and let me figure out, because I need to see this these indentations a little bit clearer. Okay, so what we're waiting to see, I just had to do that just so that I could see the indentations or the low volume areas, so for the next part of what I'm going to say, it can make some sense, right? So what it is we want to do is we want to wait to see what will happen when price comes down to the boundary of this low volume node area, if it's going to break through or if this area is going to act as a support and push it up even higher. Now, in saying that, the overall structure of Euro USD is going in a way where it looks like it's going to start to break down, especially if price starts to break down from this level, because effectively all of these higher highs that it has created, this would be the first time that it would have created a higher low, right? So if it does that, then that is the first sign that market might be going lower. Then we have a touch and go signal, which is it closes below the low volume node in this area right here. Okay, if it does that and produces a lower low, so we have a lower high and a lower low in this area over here, this is where I'm expecting price to kind of do this little ascending channel in this direction before it breaks down further and then does another ascending channel, and so on and so forth, right? So let's see how things pan out. I don't know if you guys want to jump in with trades today, but personally, looking at what I am looking at right now, I'll be leaning more towards the patient side of the game, supposing to aggressively wanting to be in, because in most cases, if I am right, okay, I'm going to get a bigger move than I am if I just jump in on guesswork. That's why I'm not saying jump in now. I'm just saying let's monitor the situation. It looks like we're getting the move. It looks like a good move is about to come into view right now. Not the move we're looking for, but a good move. So it could be a push to the upside, or it could be a push to the downside. Now, on the flip side of a push to the upside, bearing in mind where price is, okay? If you're confident price is going to go up, I don't know why you would, but if you are, okay, I wouldn't take anything in this area even though it is a discounted price. I would wait for price to close above the low volume node on the high side, and the price point we're looking at is this price point right here, and that will be 1.18290, right? So that's kind of how I will position myself in this whole game. But however, if I was to do something right now, what I would be doing is simply waiting for the move to appear. So with that said and done, if you've watched up until now, give yourself a pat on the back, and I appreciate you for doing so. And what you can do is do the rest of the cool things if you haven't done them already, which is hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification, drop us a like, and leave us a comment as to where you're watching from. I would love to hear your thoughts. And I will see you all on the next one.